So what are you trying to say, Chris?
I'm trying to say you should leave.
It's October 1st, 2014.
You think you're going to claim the it's by just saying it. That's not how it works.
He kicked you out of the podcast. I just took my quick moment I had an opportunity.
Oh, that's true.
It's October 1st, 2014.
It's October 1st, 2014.
This is Idle Thumbs 178. I'm Chris Remo.
I'm Sean Vanneman.
I'm Jake Rodkin.
And I'm Danielle Riendo.
Good.
And I'm happy to be here. Yes, and.
Also good.
I feel like all I want to do is talk about Counter-Strike all day.
I know, you've been itching.
I have.
And you've
I got
also
an
really
itch,
wanted
yo.
to talk about Counter-Strike.
I think you should just do it.
We played Counter-Strike last night. The
Tell-
three of us.
tell me about
Sorry.
Oh.
Oh, no.
Oh.
No.
You guys had a party?
Oh, no.
It's while you were
Think about it.
streaming Shadows of Mordor,
Oh, okay.
we were playing
We were playing
Counter-Strike
Global Offensive. And we were playing this because Evan Lahti at PC Gamer put up a video that was just like, reminder of why Counter-Strike is cool and real and interesting. And it was just a dissection of like a minute and 40-second long round.
Yeah.
At quarter speed.
At like quarter speed.
Yeah, with his...
It was like Fnatic versus somebody else or something like that. It was a pro match.
Yeah, it was crazy.
And he broke it down just bit by bit. And then at the end, he did it in like real time.
And it's
He
like
just
a
let it
minute
run. And it's chaos. It's just, it's absolutely insane.
But he followed one player's perspective for the entire breakdown at 25% speed. And this guy is just operating on a combination of like quick like analytical decisions and just pure instinct. So he'll make the decisions are about like where to position himself in relation to other players and things like that. But then
Like
the instinct,
when to wait.
right? But then the pure instinct part comes when he just no scopes a guy with a sniper rifle in one attempt through
that guy's
a
smoke bomb.
flashbang smoke
my
screen
God.
without ever having seen the guy in the first place, based purely on like presumably years and years of instinct about the most likely moment the enemy might be at this exact point on the other side of the smoke screen right now. Like, given all the other variables that he has been
That
tracking.
guy did that
over the course
again
of
later in the
Amazing.
game where he sniped like the second to last guy or the third to last guy on the team after that guy jumped up from behind a truck. And then, as we could see in Evan's demo playback, there was an opponent coming around to his left through a corridor that was like not visible or audible. But then before the guy we were following goes and kills someone, he just quickly turns into that door just to see if a guy's there, kills the guy immediately, and then turns around like without knowing anything. It was like, oh,
Yeah.
He was killing people.
Holy shit.
He was killing people the way people get coins in a speed run of a game they've played a million times.
Right.
Or like the way people get kills when they're using wall hacks but this was a pro game, so he was not using
So no
wall
hacks.
But it looked like what it looks like if you've ever been on a server or seen video of people who are just blatantly cheating. It looks like that. It's crazy. So this gave Sean the itch, and
Well, we were like, oh, these guys seem like they're executing an amazing skill. This game is incredibly deep. We can probably pierce this in 40 minutes of play on a casual server.
It was so fun.
yeah, Sean, Jake and I
loved
kind of
it.
fumbled around for a while, and Sean clearly got bitten.
I fucking loved it. I just forgot.
It's been a long decade.
I mean, we
Yeah,
played a lot of
This game
TF
is-
back in the day.
It's been
Like-
like 15 years since I played CS.
We spent a ton of time playing TF up until about 2 years ago, 3 years ago, maybe.
And then Dota took over.
Yeah, that's actually exactly correct.
Yeah, I remember when you switched
the whole
over.
Val, no. But it was just so fun. It was so fun to play a game with my friends. 1. 2, the rounds are really fast. Everybody knows what Counter-Strike is. I'm sorry, but you know what? Actually, if you're an Idle Thumbs reader, you maybe not have played a game like this either in quite some time or ever.
You've played one ever. Everyone's shot a face.
That's true. But it's just
Maybe not
so
this specific
fun.
game. I'm sure there's plenty of people who
And
haven't played
it's
Counter-Strike.
incredible. It's way deeper than I remember.
It's a different era.
Like, I mean,
Yeah.
it's way deeper than TF2 in that every time it's single death per round, at least in most modes. And then in between rounds, you have a loadout where you have to spend money that you've earned to buy the things that you're going to use that match. And that just does everything I want, which is strategic and competitive. Like, I have to make some decisions about like what resources I need to spend right now.
You've been living in the Dota zone for like 2+
and a half years
now. So it's got to be pressing some of the Dota pleasure points in your brain, but in like 3-minute increments where it's like,
exactly right.
buy your shit, customize your loadout, execute a strategy as your team, win or lose, take the dregs of what you've got or your winnings, roll it into your next round, go.
Oh, I loved it. Because like when things started working, I felt like this sort of very organic strategy shift on the team when we started to win rounds. Not that the three of us are any good. We stopped going the same fucking way and started going a different way through the map to capture a different point. And when those things started working, it was just doing all the things in my brain that a good round of Dota does, which is, hey guys, let's stop doing the thing we're doing and try to like organically shift strategies. Oh, it's so good. It was so fun. We played video games together like boys.
It was like boys.
boys.
That's-
You know what I mean?
it's
Like
true.
we were children.
Yes, that was the part. Okay, so that was the thing that was really powerful, like the powerful sensation for
And we were
me.
on Skype together.
That part was fun.
yeah.
Playing with you guys was fun. But the part of it that I was like happy to have left behind was the weird. So I played the kind of one period in my life when I played a lot of online multiplayer games. I guess there were two periods. And the first one was from basically 1997 to like 2001, I would say. Which is roughly when I was in like
High school or something.
middle
So it's like
school and high
prime,
school. Yeah.
original StarCraft,
It
original
was original
Counter-Strike.
Quake,
Yeah.
original StarCraft, original Team Fortress, and Team Fortress Classic, original Counter-Strike, all that stuff. I played all that stuff. Original UT, and
I liked UT a lot.
yeah, me too. I know Jake's a Quake 3 man. I played a lot of Quake 3
Quake
as well.
2, man.
Yeah, I played original Quake and Quake 3 actually. But anyway, I remember playing Counter-Strike at the time, and that was the one of those that I didn't get as into as the others. And the reasons why I like remember now, because we loaded this up last night, and Sean, before we were on the same team or anything, when we were on Skype but not actually like playing together, so to speak, I loaded in and I immediately just start hearing shit in my ears, which is these just like, no offense to anyone, but like just incredibly overtly dorky dudes thinking they're the hottest shit ever and just kind of broadcasting that and sort of like trash talking in just the most inept, dorky 15-year-old way. Do you know what I mean? Including just like bad accents and just like, oh, right, this is exactly what this was like 15 years ago and continues to be the case now. Oh, man.
It's funny because I've been playing Dota for so long where I'm like, yeah? Like, what's your fucking
You're like, it's
problem?
normal, right?
You just hit the tab and you mute everybody in your team and then you enjoy your game. Like,
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that's not true.
Right.
I'm just saying this was a sensory, like,
it reminded
brought you
yeah,
back.
it was
It's a reawakening.
rough.
it was like
It's like
sense
catching
memory.
a smell of like a perfume of somebody
exactly,
used to
exactly.
date.
It was amazing. Yes, exactly. It was amazing how powerfully and instantly it transported me to another.
Well, because there's
time and
like an
place.
audio fidelity mixed with the exact type of person who
Yes.
feels the need to spout this.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
it all comes through.
It was a strange experience, and then that kind of went away as the three of us ended up on the same team, and we made up a higher proportion of the team. and also
And we also just talked on Skype and didn't
we
engage
also
in
just
team
talked on
chat.
Skype anyway.
But that one guy kept trying to ban you for cowardice, which was really
that guy
funny.
was trying
me.
to ban everybody. To my credit,
I only noticed it when you were being banned.
he tried to ban
coward.
He tried. I know that was pretty hilarious. There's
Brandon
another
the
guy.
coward.
There's another guy he tried to ban multiple times, and that guy was like, "Dude, quit it! Stop banning me!" And or like, "Stop trying to ban me." And it was that again was just exact dynamics. Dude, come on, man! Oh, stop!
1998.
Yep,
yeah.
there it
The thing
is.
that's nice though is that like there are Valve run servers, which I had never experienced in a game. Well, either I get all Valve run servers like in Dota, or TF, which is just lawless. Yeah, whatever. So it was nice to like join a server and like not be like onboarded by like ads and weird rules and like really entrenched cultural memes for whatever. Like,
Oh, you mean like versus when you jump on a TF server and it's just like
all the
Unreal
spray.
sound pack for
Yeah.
no reason. You're like, what is this on here?
Yeah, it was nice. And the performance of the game is amazing. There's so many good things about the game. The more I played it, the more I kept like just
Yeah, you
discovering-
went deep in real fast.
But there's so many smart things that just are a byproduct of the fact that you can do really advanced things in a shooter now. And
what do you mean now? This game is like the same
Yeah,
as it's been. For,
I'm curious
No,
about
but
what you're
just
going to
like-
say because this stuff I didn't.
felt
just from a fidelity
the same to me.
standpoint, from like
fidelity of what?
like hearing bullets around the map and like seeing a bullet travel like whiz by your head, seeing in the spectator mode like their health go down as like that one full color
The
overlay
spectator
palette.
mode was the most impressive piece in the entire thing. for
Yeah,
me.
all that stuff just makes it feel like
But the main game feels exactly the same.
it feels the same. But I bet if you went back, like
I'm sure there's lots of little details.
there's just so much visual information. There's so much.
Yeah,
Being able to punch those holes in doors with a gun that can shoot through doors to like punch out these little like metal holes so you can see like, oh, it's a porthole size now. Oh, now it's like the size of like my torso. Now it's like I can knock the door over basically. Oh, and just the fidelity of that stuff being so crisp.
It's weird
So
though
good.
because the thing that I was like when I first jumped into the server, I sent Chris a message that was like, "Jesus Christ, it just looks like Half-Life 1." And I was like, "Okay."
And
You're like, okay, it looks like
Half-Life
Half-Life 2, but that's all that I was thinking about the entire time, and that was actually okay.
I feel like
I'm
like
not
you
going to
need
get an
bring up a
argument with you
screen
because
grab of
I'm
Half-Life 2.
No, I'm not contradicting anything that you're saying because that's okay. I feel like I land somewhere in between the two of you on this because when I
For
was
me, I'm really just trying to sell you guys and it being great so we can play again because I know you guys won't play again.
okay, here's the thing.
really
I will
fucking
play
bums
again.
me out. Don't. You're just gonna hurt me if you make
No,
that promise,
I will
man.
because
Oh, Dad, no.
here's why. Because I know neither of you guys will ever play TF2 with me.
I will.
Yeah,
Send me a text. That's all
Uh-huh.
you gotta do. I'm always within 10 feet of my computer. Always. Always. Try it.
I enjoyed.
I dare you.
I enjoyed that 40 minutes of Counter-Strike
mean,
more
I did too.
than like I've only ever probably put 10 hours into CS total, and most
me
of it
too.
was 15 years ago. Like most of it was.
The last time I played before this, there were tanks in it.
Oh man, that was like mid
Yeah.
mid
That
Half-Life
was
1 because
old
like my
CS.
younger brother and his friends got super into Counter-Strike somehow just from Beta 1, and they still play on 1.6. They're
shit.
those guys.
A lot
Like,
of people do.
whoa.
I think.
Yeah, I know there's a lot of people that do that, but it's weird that I know them.
Yeah. Right.
But playing CS, it has just been a long ass time since and this is shitty, whatever. Idle Thumbs 2014, but it's been a long time since I played and enjoyed a game where I just wandered around and fucking shot people.
I know.
I loved it.
Which is
I loved it. Nobody tried to tell me I was a hero. Nobody tried to tell me I was special. There was no
Chosen
fucking.
one. Yeah.
There was no sort of like
right. There's
sidekick bullshit. There was no bad story. It was just murder.
Well, I like Team Fortress because
loved
it
it.
has that stuff, but it effectively is couched as like an Adult Swim version of Looney Tunes.
yeah, for sure.
Whereas
it's just like it's
Counter-Strike,
a rated R
still-
Looney Tune.
it still
yeah.
sucks to me to be in a place where I'm ripping guys apart with a gun. But the weird thing about the aesthetics of it's so weird that you describe Counter-Strike Go as modern, and maybe it's just that the level designs are very similar to Dota. The level designs are basically sports arenas where like the walls have to be perfectly squared off because they have been perfectly squared off for
I have a
15
weird
years.
question.
The pipes that you jump onto to make a little walkway work like they do in Quake 2 because that's how they worked in Half-Life 1. Like you can't guss it up.
How old? What's your graphics card like? I know it's a dumb question, but I'm playing on the Republic of Gamers. I'm playing on the Republic of Gamers, and that thing is fucking sick. Like, everything is just extreme.
Okay, wait a minute.
You know what I
We're
mean?
10 minutes into Counter-Strike, and you're telling me that I'm not enjoying the game as much as you because my sick gaming hardware is not good enough? This is a Source Engine game that is based on code that is 15 years old.
It's not on the new Source?
What is up
No,
with this?
Dota 2 is.
I know. Okay. No,
I don't know,
I
man.
guarantee the geometry and the textures are not.
No, but it looks good. I thought the game looked good.
It does look good.
I mean, it's no fucking Mordor, which we're going to talk about in a second,
yeah,
but like, whatever,
okay,
man.
Here's the thing about all of this.
It's not Mordor.
It's so good.
No, okay,
I let myself go here, and then I like caught like half my face in a mirror and went,
How good your graphics are when you got VSync turned on? Bet you're seeing a bunch of fucking slicing from no VSync.
Are you?
Check your bitmap level. Check your trilinear filtering.
Bet your fob is really low, console noob.
Fucking fob. No, okay, so here's the thing that I actually think is potentially going on to a certain degree. And that thing is that none of us have played a Call of Duty or Battlefield game in the last 3 years.
Exactly. No, I played a fucking shitload of Call of Duty. But it's still... The problem is, it's still mired in that you're a fucking hero.
Yeah, I'm not talking about the thematic content.
But you know what I mean? No, it's still mechanical. It's like kill streak. Now you can pilot an AC-130.
No,
you just get more powerful, more powerful.
CS:GO is super clean. Like,
But it's not a. But the thing about it is that's so good is it's not a power fantasy.
Right, but we're talking about so many different things at once.
Mechanically, though, it's not a power fantasy.
I'm not
It's
talking
just
about mechanics.
fucking
I know.
just punching each other in
Like,
the face.
If this game was made
so
from
good.
scratch right now, it would not be angular the way that it is, while also trying to replicate real life. There'd be rubble piles everywhere. There'd be dirt and like grass all over the place. But this is, it's like, it's.
But I mean, CS:GO is built from scratch to match CS. I'm almost positive.
Yes.
So like it's very
I'm
similar
sure
to very similar to Dota in that sense, right? Where it's
Yeah,
like
that's what
be
he's saying.
true to the
That's-
thing that it
I think that's
came
his exact
before.
point.
Yeah,
That's your point.
that is what I'm saying. But I mean, it's, and I'm sure people.
If it was to be conceived of with no back history, is what you're
Yeah.
saying.
Yeah,
So now
okay.
the aesthetic of it looks like a specific stylistic thing, whereas originally the aesthetic of it was it looks the closest we can get to
It
a
was
real
technical
war zone.
limitation, yeah.
Yeah.
But I feel like technical limitation still like but it becomes mechanical, right?
Yes.
Like all those rebel piles and stuff,
definitely.
and like that's why you can crawl in Call of Duty. Like you can do an army crawl because
Yeah,
there's
no.
so many. There's so
I mean,
much.
The way people still get around in CS:GO is by jumping in the air and then crouching to lower your legs so you can get up onto a higher thing.
Yeah.
And that's just like, that's in there because that's how you actually jumped onto high surfaces in Half-Life 1. Like you
Right.
jump and then pull your legs up under you because of
But I
weird
mean,
jumping mechanics.
We talked about that when we talked about Dota, but just like whatever those vestigial limbs are.
Oh, yeah,
designed.
sure.
There was
It's
a
just-
great word for that. It's like
Oh, right. What's it called?
You know what I'm talking about, though, right?
I do know what you're talking about.
God, it's a
driving me
great
crazy.
word.
Our language
Yeah.
has a good word for it.
It's a made up word, but it's recently made up word.
But yeah, it's
Yeah, for like the vestigial limb of a thing. That
it was strange jumping into Counter-Strike after, because there was CS 1.6, there was CS Source, there was some other attempt at a Counter-Strike spin-off thing, and then there's CS:GO. And like that's way more heritage than Dota's ever had, but it was so interesting to go back into it and just like it because it has the new stuff, but then it still has like the visual cues of how to get up through that roof are just like shitty octagonal holes, or like the conduit that you or like the catwalk that you walk on is actually 6 cylindrical pipes that are all just next to each other that happen to have a flat clip plane, like you're playing fucking Gravity Bone or something.
really like it.
Yeah.
I like that it's like whatever. You're terrorists and counter-terrorists and it's war and you're shooting each other, but it's not a war fantasy because of these like shitty old mechanics that are still in the game, and because there's no like upgrade path as you're getting more powerful and more powerful and more powerful and like belittling another person. You're literally just given the same shit and have to do battle. It's like it's so much better. Oh, I love it.
Okay, so Danielle, have you ever played Counter-Strike? Because you've literally sit here this entire time
I'm
saying not a
sorry,
single word.
Danielle.
No, it's totally okay. So
We're gonna play Counter. You want to play Counter-Strike?
I would love to.
yeah.
I would love to give it a shot.
It's dumb. It's great.
It's dumb and great.
Fucking stupid.
I like dumb great things.
I said both, and that is how I feel.
I love dumb and great things.
I'll never
honestly.
play Counter-Strike again.
Wait, so hold on.
So-
Let's try to ask Danielle a question here,
Sorry.
guys. Jesus.
That's okay. So I did not play PC games when I was that age. When I was in high school or so, I was playing like N64 and Dreamcast games. Basically, I was the console baby.
Yeah. I mean, I think most
baby
people
dork,
were,
you know. So I actually missed out entirely on CS. I'm interested, and like I would love to check out Evan's video because that's the sort of thing I get.
It's really.
You'd be probably fascinated by it, I suspect.
Yeah, I would enjoy that.
Do you like mouse and keyboard shooters?
I'm fine with it. You know,
we'll play.
I haven't played a million shooters in that.
Plus, we'll just be on Skype, so it's like whatever. You know.
Counter-Strike was
won't be
ported.
worse than I was.
It was ported to the original Xbox, so you could play it on your original Xbox.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't have an original Xbox.
Oh.
There was a period, I feel like, of several years that I guess continued until now of like, because of this game exists, of taking Counter-Strike and trying to repackage it in any way that would somehow free it from the weird, like, self-imposed prison of only being parsable by this, like, group of kind of intensely hardcore weird teenagers. Which is what I feel like what, you know, that game
Wasn't that
was
what
like
Condition Zero was? Wasn't there Counter-Strike Condition Zero?
Yeah, Counter-Strike Condition Zero was a thing, yeah.
I'm really excited to play Counter-Strike with you, Danielle.
I'm excited too. You're going to have to excuse me for probably not being very good at it. But
we went multiple rounds yesterday with no kills.
Okay.
But like the thing that's what was great about it, and I mean, this is a very like niche user case. Having not played a game like this in a long time, jumping into a server and just dying because you can die in like 10 seconds, you know, and then you have to wait for the next round, and the rounds go about a minute. So you're like, oh, next time I'm not going to do that. And then you do something a little bit more, and you're like, oh, I found a new area, and I died. Okay, I'm not going to go there this time, but I'm going to go the other way this time. And then you start to just like
get it,
trial and error your way to like a kill, and you're like, oh, it's so good, it's so fun, you know. And you can have little victories and not really care if your team is winning or losing at our skill level, which is 0. You know, which is baby. Yeah.
I definitely and I guess the last round we played, I got a few kills, and it definitely felt way more. Yeah, it felt way more like substantial than it would in a game where you just constantly respawn, and everything is like set up to make you powerful.
Yeah,
so,
cool. That sounds pretty cool.
Also, I realized as we were starting up the game, I think I knew this at one point and I forgot. This game was co-developed by Hidden Path Entertainment, which is also the studio that makes the Defense Grid games, which is the other game I played this week. Yeah. So I weirdly just had. This was my Hidden Path Entertainment week.
That's pretty cool.
Which is strange because they're not a studio that releases enough games that you can... Like, I think they've made 3 games, basically, and it's 2 Defense Grids and a Counter-Strike Go.
Yeah.
So I was playing that.
It was weird going back to a game that I played enough of to remember things about it, but not to have developed any real muscle memory or acumen at. So it felt... it felt like uncovering a lost game from that era, but it was also a new game, but it was also a game that I had familiarity with, but it was also a game that I had no experience with. It was a very strange, just multiple things funneling into my brain.
Yeah. To me, it felt like what it feels like the first time you attempt to play a sport that you know the rules of, because everyone knows the rules of it, and then you suddenly realize I don't know anything.
Right, we're like, oh, right, you buy guns at the beginning.
Right. Because I know all the things about Counter-Strike. Like, I mean, when I say all the things, I mean, like, in the way that I know the rules of football, right?
Right, yeah.
But I don't ever have to go onto a field and play football against people who actually know what they're doing for real.
It's good this was the equivalent of you having known about football your whole life, then, like, seeing a replay of, like, one sick play in a football game, being like, you know what? This actually does look interesting. I think I'm going to give football a try. After I saw that one play. That was very intriguing.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, fuck. My spine is crushed.
Oh, no.
Whoops.
Speaking of that, I recently
Speaking of spines being crushed?
Sort of.
I know. I hope not sort of. I hope this is definitely speaking of spines being crushed.
Well, I don't know why, but yesterday I sort of re-uncovered, is it Uwe Boll? Uwe Boll?
Uwe
Boll.
Uwe Boll, classic German film director.
Yes.
Of what? What did he direct?
Postal?
Blood Rain.
Rain. He was the guy who made
Alone
all the
in the
video
Dark.
Game movies.
He made a lot of terrible game movies.
This was when our industry controversies were things like Uwe Boll is adapting a movie.
Oh, God, I miss those days.
That was like Jack Thompson era as
that
well.
That is definitely a sort of that is a bygone era of video game industry controversies. That is the quaintest era. That the thing everyone would
They're
sort of
making a bad movie. They're not representing our art.
I miss that so much. Well, I mean,
it was such an easier time to be outraged.
It really
about
was.
things.
It really was. I was watching for some reason the videos of him boxing the sort of internet critics and just beating the crap out of them.
Remember when we used to resolve our industry debates with boxing matches? Fuck, why isn't that happening now? You would just floor the shit out of everyone. Fuck, where's our boxing resolution to all this? Anyway, sorry, I keep interrupting you. I just got really excited.
No, it's totally cool.
By the fact that you could just punch Uwe Boll out. Anyway, it's...
Oh my god!
Back in the day, when things were simpler. I was watching them for some reason yesterday because I was upset about internet things that I won't go into. But I was watching this and I was just like, wow, this was a thing that people did. Like people thought this was a good
one
idea.
Guy did.
Well, yeah, it's like there were 4 or 5 bloggers or something.
I feel like if somebody
they got into the ring with him, and he's a real fighter. And they none of them had any training, so they're just sort of like dancing around and getting punched.
Yeah.
Wait, so here's the thing. Do you think, based on those videos, do you think you could take Uwe Boll?
I mean, God, he has 100 pounds on me, and probably his left hook could probably knock me out. Like, I could probably...
But you're smarter than
18-ounce gloves.
Yeah, right.
He has to wear 18-ounce gloves. You can wear 12-ounce gloves.
And so I could wear, like, little baby gloves.
Yeah.
I could probably hit him a couple of times. I could probably get a few good shots on him, but he would probably land something nasty on me.
Right.
So... I would say I would hold my own for a round or two, but
sure,
that's a lot of punching
But
power.
I think that you definitely have him in stamina.
Probably.
Don't you get to just run him out eventually?
I might be able to, but the thing is,
you'd have to really like make sure that it was like a 12-round.
Yeah, it would need to be a long fight.
Yeah,
and now I'm seriously thinking about this. He's also what, 50 maybe.
Yeah.
So, I have a little bit of an advantage
My
there.
brain's now running the cartoon version of this, though, where he, knocks you down and then just forces you to watch the Blood Rain movie, and that's what, wears you down. That's what reduces the stamina.
Oh, my God.
A super punch-out version?
Yeah.
That's his special.
That makes a lot of sense, actually.
Right, yeah. He just presses a button, and then every TV screen in the stadium,
just boom, boom,
it's just all of his fucking movies. Yeah.
Every single person in the arena is dressed as a Blood Rain extra, too,
Yes.
and they just get up and do
They're just dressed as Blood Rain. That's probably a character.
They're all
from
just
that.
Blood Rain,
Yeah.
That's the Lady Vampire from Blood. I watched that movie.
I did not.
I'll be honest
You've
with you.
put
Ben
money
Kingsley.
in the pocket.
Yeah, that's the one that Ben Kingsley
Ben
made.
Kingsley is
Sir Ben
in
Kingsley.
that movie, which is amazing.
I don't really even know what Blood Rain is. I remember that was a thing, a game.
It was a vampire
existed.
game.
It was that.
Yeah, she was like an action vampire star. It was actually not
Was
the
she a
worst
star?
game.
Okay.
I
got her
had
own
some
movie.
fun with
Who
the
made Blood
first
Rain?
game.
Uwe Boll.
Was it Eidos? Was it one of those?
think it
Majesco
was.
published it.
I
Or no,
Okay.
Eidos? I think it was Majesco. But I don't remember who made it. I don't remember who actually developed it.
Yeah. I don't remember.
Whatever.
I remember playing it and having fun with it. In
fair
the
enough.
early 2000s.
Yeah,
it wasn't
yeah.
like a deep, amazing experience that
I
I will always
assume it was not.
hold close to my heart. But
Majesco published it for sure.
okay,
Yep.
that makes sense.
Hmm.
I was watching this yesterday and I was just like, that was a thing that happened.
Oh, Terminal Reality. Of course, Terminal Reality.
That makes sense.
Classic, late 90s, early 2000s,
Yeah.
kind of just weird,
Action adventure.
variety developer.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a very specific kind of category.
Did they get started by making Terminal Velocity, or was that a different
Yeah,
company?
I think they actually did.
Okay, sorry.
Oh no, that makes sense. Terminal. Yeah.
I know, isn't that weird? Oh no, I guess they worked on. Yeah, Terminal. That was their first game, Terminal Velocity. Yes, I remember that. And then there was that other studio, Edge of Reality.
Oh, yeah.
That was called Edge of Reality because they started working out of a corner of the Terminal Reality office.
Oh,
They were located on the Edge of Reality.
beautiful.
That was a true fact.
Their name is a dad joke. Like
It is.
the name of
Absolutely
their
is.
company. That's a beautiful thing. Anyway, the image of playing football and being like, I can play football, just reminded me of these.
I can beat the shit out of Uwe Boll.
Yeah, these guys who
Yeah.
just decided this was a great idea.
No.
Anyway, that was not a great idea. I played a game that is a throwback to the 90s of the Counter-Strike era.
Oh, really? What is it?
Yeah, I had a lot of fun with it. It was called Road Redemption.
I've never
It's
heard
an
of that.
early access game that is basically like a modern version of a Road Rash. You're just
That's
a
cool.
motorcycle dude, and you are killing other people on motorcycles and racing around.
This is a throwback week for sure.
It really is. I mean, I had a lot of fun with this. It's still early access, so not everything's in place yet, but there's really good sort of mission variety already. There are races, there are missions where you have to, take out 6 guys. There are missions where it's like, take out 6 guys, but only using kicks instead of your weapons and things like that.
So is it arcadey in how it's structured?
Very, very arcadey, yes. And I believe, I'm not positive, but I'm close to positive that all the tracks are sort of procedural as well.
Oh,
so
crazy.
It's always something new, something fun. Yeah, there's not that much to say about it, but it's really fun.
What is it called?
Road Redemption.
Road Redemption.
It's Dark Seas Games, I believe.
Is it aesthetically like pixel arty old arcade, or is it new?
No, it's
look?
it's still arcadey looking. I'm trying to think of a good way of saying this. It is as if the fidelity from a PS1 era, it's today's current technology looking good, but it's sort of a slightly cartoony, slightly exaggerated sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
You're in the desert and
it actually calls itself the Road Rash spiritual successor.
Yeah, and it's a good.
Is it made by people who worked on that, or are they just laying claim to that turf?
That's a good question. I don't know. The answer to that
fine.
question.
It just looks like a 3D arcade game looking at it here.
Exactly.
It just looks like a video game.
Exactly. It's a lot of fun in a, it's not the deepest game, but you do sort of the 2014, idea of sort of leveling up your bike and,
Right.
getting a faster bike and buying better weapons and so on and so forth. You get XP for every, everything
love
you do,
XP.
basically.
This was a Kickstarter game.
Was it really? Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know that much about the history of it, but I did play a couple hours of it and enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
Quite a bit, in fact.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Dan Geisler, co-creator of Road Rash 1, 2, and 3, says, I want to play that. Get funded and kick ass.
Okay, so that's the
perfect.
involvement.
That's perfect. It just feels like playing a 90s game, but pretty and works well and
Right.
so on and so
Oh,
forth.
this is okay. Sorry, I don't want to get into it too much, but I just went to their the dev blog,
Yeah?
and it's really exciting to me. Okay, sorry, my brain is just in the Counter-Strike space now. So going to a dev blog and then just seeing a render of a T-posed flak-jacketed police
Yep.
officer with a riot shield that just looks like a character from CS or any game mod makes me fucking happy. Oh, he's back. There's so much information about
good.
how road physics work when your tires been on your bike. Sorry, I have
Physics are great in this game, too. They are
Really?
they're really, really wonderful.
good bike
Yeah.
feel.
Good bike feel. And then, of course, there's a little bit of ragdoll if you really eat it, but it's not overly... that's not the point of the game. It's not like a Saints Row
The point is not actually to get Road Rash.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
to knock out the
not a
other
burnout.
dudes and win the race and, whatever else your little mission is telling you to do.
it's really to get Road Redemption.
Yeah. It's to redeem your road. Is something. Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's fun.
It's a spiritual successor of Road Rash and The
have
Shawshank
a-
Redemption.
Yes.
They have a
That's really what's going on.
they have a blog post called We're Not Ride to Hell, which I thought was
Oh my
a typo
God.
until I read it. There's a different game. So this game is called Road Redemption. There's a different game called Ride to Hell Retribution.
Oh, yes.
That it says, recently a game called Ride to Hell Retribution was released, and while it shows some similarities in theme and concept with Road Redemption, that's where the similarities end. Ride to Hell has been hailed by many publications as one of the worst games ever made, and a shoo-in for Worst Game of 2013. It scored a 1 out of 10 in Eurogamer.net, the site I usually trust to give the most accurate review scores.
Kara Ellison.
So these guys had to launch a PR campaign to indicate that they are
Differentiate
not a
themselves.
different game, a different unrelated
Yeah.
game.
I appreciate that they had to do
Kara
that.
Ellison wrote an amazing review of Ride to Hell
Yeah.
Retribution,
I should
which
read
she said she cried so often playing this game because it was so bad. It was actually it brought her to tears. That's how horrible this game was.
God, this guy then has a whole hypothetical postmortem about what he suspects went wrong in development of this other game.
Oh no.
Is it empathetic?
Yeah, it seems so. He seems to think they just got way over their head.
They did a good job.
He
That's
seems
just a long walk to take in your own blog.
Yeah.
I know. I know. That's what's strange about it. So he has all these paragraphs about analyzing the stuff that's in the game to try and figure out what the original intentions were, and then he sort
There's
of.
something that's kind of sweet about that, though.
I know, yeah. He goes, how did it all fall apart? Having worked on similar projects, I have a strong sense that the Ride to Hell production team scheduled different people to work on each of these components all at the same time, rather than focusing on one component till it was polished and moving on to the next. This is not how you should schedule production of a game. And he just goes into all of this, Just like, anyway, I've been making games for a long time, and here's what probably went wrong. Let me take you aside and teach you a couple things about how this business works.
You can walk a line, I think, and get away with that.
No, I think he gets away with it. Because he's clearly like sympathetic to their woes.
At the same time, making sure that his game is as far as possible from that game.
It's just a savvy businessman. He has to do that.
Yeah, it was a good move because that.
Oh man, then he's got a section called the Road Redemption Difference. Our strategy is simple.
Yes.
We find the fun and expand out from there. And then he goes into that.
Oh, that's what we should have done.
Then he has a segment called "Don't Blame Ride to Hell's Developers," which is nice of him, obviously. And then he talks about how these people are probably all very nice people.
He ended with the "Don't hate the player, hate the game."
Yeah,
thesis.
I mean, this seems like a very well-intentioned post. It's fascinating that it is so that he goes like he just goes.
Is this developer?
A lot of detail there.
Is this developer American?
Dark Seas Games. I don't know. Let me check.
His name's Ian Fish, so he's probably American.
We see
or
through that
British.
disguise, Ian Fish.
Was that a weird Phil Fish?
Yeah, we know where that guy went.
Yep.
He's offering helpful
Yes, it
advice
was.
from behind the
Maybe
scenes.
it's just like Phil Fish's really like well-meaning,
It's
totally
Phil-skish. Yeah.
calm brother. He just gives good
just
meaning.
analytical, sober.
Yeah. What you'll do better next time. It's like like a nice mom.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice mom.
Moms are always like, you'll do better next time. You're like, I'm in jail, mom. So thanks.
I've killed
I'll do better. in
45
10 to
people.
15.
Counter-Strike now.
Yeah, I've tasted human blood. Well,
we all make mistakes.
You know, maybe you find Jesus and yeah, I don't know. It's good.
You guys want to take a break?
Sure.
what?
I don't know. That was a good chunk of podcast.
You know, we were done and Chris said sure. We should take a break so we can put an ad in here.
Well, we would like to thank our good friends at Hover. You can go to hover.com right this very second and use the promo code Chris. How do you spell your name, Chris?
CHRIS.
Really?
For 10% off your domain name registrations because Hover is an excellent domain name registrar. That is what they do. We register all of our domain names through Hover and have for years. They're super easy to use. We requested some gems from our readers in terms of good URLs. They have recently registered, and Jake's dreams are reality. That was you, right?
It was
There are
Who else
gems.
would dream of this, Chris?
Yes.
My dream is real. So now an Idle Thumbs reader has registered a very Christmas.
Yes.
If you want to get to our website,
Yes.
that's the best way.
Yep.
A very jallard.christmas.
My other dream was realized though as well. And what was it again, man?
I think it was good-times.biz.
Good-times.biz. Yeah, I used to own class-act.biz, so I feel like a kindred spirit to the guy who got good times.
Yeah.
.biz.
So they have recently discounted most of their TLDs, including the new wacky ones like .christmas, as well as the normal
.com
ones.
.org.
So go to hover.com, use the promo code Chris for 10% off your first order. Video game.
I was going to start talking about adjective animals, but I won't. But I want to.
Giant squid.
That's real.
Big rooster.
That's probably real.
It is.
Flying squirrel.
That's
Also real.
Red-Bellied Warbler.
That'd be a fine name for a video game studio.
That would be definitely a like mission based.
Yep.
Yes.
Steve actually considered that one. And we'd also like to thank the fine folks at Squarespace, the all-in-one platform that makes it fast and incredibly easy to create your own professional website, portfolio, and online store. And you can, for a free trial and 10% off, you can go to squarespace.com and use the offer code THUMBS at checkout. They have simple and easy web development. They have like beautiful designs.
And you can get started with no credit card.
You can get
You
started
can
with no
start
credit
make a
card.
thing.
Also, if plans start at $8 a month, and you can get a free domain from them, I guess, if you sign up for a year, which is nice.
Where reader Paul sent in his Squarespace site registered with the thumbs code. It is sunlessdesign.com. He's an illustrator and graphic designer, and he's been using Squarespace for his portfolio.
Perfect.
Thanks, Squarespace.
Portfolios look very nice on Squarespace.
They do.
Excellent.
Thanks, Squarespace.
You're welcome.
I didn't realize you were going to say thanks. You never say thank you to me anymore.
Video game. So we're back.
Hello.
Danielle, you and Patricia, I guess, streamed Shadows of Mordor, which I am
We did.
really excited to play. I guess you didn't personally play enough of it to discuss.
We can tease it, though.
We can tease it. I mean, it's it's
This is
beautiful.
the new Lord of the Rings game, which I had never heard of prior to 4 days ago, and then
you didn't go to
suddenly
E3.
everyone was flipping their shit.
Yeah.
Like if someone said there's a new AAA Lord of the Rings licensed game coming out, it's hard for me to imagine a circumstance in which I would be more
Right. It was just
unenthused.
Less excited.
Right.
Yes.
It was the sort of two little extra things like it's from Monolith and it's a good Monolith game where you're like, oh shit. Like, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm a big
It's
fan
cool
of
that,
Monolith.
that,
Well, they've had their low moments, but
Right,
they
but it's
also
exciting to hear
made
when they make
exactly.
make something
They
that's
also
just
made
really
No
well
One Lives
regarded.
Forever, No One Lives Forever 2, the original Fear, Condemned. They've made a lot of really interesting stuff.
It's exciting when a developer that's been around for a long time and clearly has
20 years. They were
has
founded
a
in 1994.
They have
Awesome.
they have 90s to 2014 burn rates, things like this, making big expensive games, and then they ship a
Make them
licensed hit,
interesting.
kind of similar to what Obsidian did with South Park. I always think that's really cool, because it feels like it's like an against all odds situation. But I guess that's why maybe these games end up having a chance, because they have to be good.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like what is an example of that is Toys for Bob, which made Star Control back in
Right.
in 1991 or whatever, and then
Now they make the
Starlanders
Spyro
Xbox
games.
now.
Yeah,
hit it big with
Skylanders.
Skylanders. Yeah.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they did
Spyro,
Spyro too, right?
I think they did. They did some of the
Did they not?
ports
Well, that game,
they
was
didn't-
that game was a Spyro spinoff.
Okay, I know Skylanders was a Spyro spinoff. I didn't know. Toys for Bob didn't actually do the
No,
early Spyro stuff.
who did
Okay.
Spyro? I can't remember. Was it Crystal Dynamics?
The
maybe.
first ones were Crystal Dynamics.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay, yeah.
I'm almost positive.
But yeah, no, it feels similar to that where you're just like, oh, you've just sort of been doing stuff. Oh.
Oh,
But I was surprised to
people
see
here
that
who
this
can
game
do
has
cool things.
action combat. I didn't realize. I
didn't
thought this
realize
was.
that
I
either.
thought this was. I just.
So
thought,
what's the deal, Danielle?
I thought
All
this
right,
was
I'll tell you the
Obsidian, but I guess
deal.
it's not.
Yeah, I want to know.
tell you all
I wanna know
about
the
the deal. So this is third-person action combat-y kind of game. It's almost a little bit like Batman Arkham Asylum, like
I've heard that
series.
comparison made.
Yeah, for sure. And the cape tech is kind of in the same
Okay.
among the same. When we're talking about this game, there's all these beautiful, majestic things that are happening, and it's like the cape looks really cool. It's one of the first things I noticed about it. There's stealth elements. We've only played the first section of the game, really
Right.
pretty
so
early
next week
on.
is the real
So
jam.
yeah, we're gonna probably be streaming again soon, more of it. But yeah, there's stealth elements. There is a
More of it.
weird thing sort of at the beginning where it's teaching you the stealth mechanics, and you have to stealthily sneak up on your wife and kiss her. That is a thing you do in this game.
I could imagine that being sweet.
They were really into they play the beginning of Dishonored. They play the part where you're playing hide and seek with the little kid, and they're like,
Oh, yeah,
what?
yeah.
And they're like, we could do better.
Yeah,
And then
kiss your
someone went,
wife.
Can we?
That
and then
totally
Ron Howard was
yeah.
like, they couldn't, so they put the kiss your wife.
Well, you know the
sequence.
Yeah,
you know
yes.
the thing,
we can do better.
You know the funny thing
They
about
couldn't.
that for me is that there's a version of that in reality that is completely sweet and harmless, right? Like your girlfriend or boyfriend or whatever's in the kitchen, and you just kind of
Right, but it's not
give them a little
sweet
peck. Right.
when
But in
someone
the
comes back from Iraq and does the exact maneuvers they
Right.
use when they're about to slit someone's throat,
Exactly.
and then they grab you and
Yes.
kiss you.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
In the context of a video game where you're in
It's mechanically the
where
same.
you're in
Sleep.
when you're
exactly.
when you're in a video game and you're going into stealth mode.
Yep.
The institutional assumption from 30 years of video games
Silent
is
takedown.
to slit their throat.
Yeah,
Yep.
basically. It's
Part of me
pretty
that
weird.
can hear it being pitched in the room,
Oh yeah, you know how that.
and I know I would be like, "That's interesting." I
it's
know
an
that I
idea.
wouldn't yell it down
Yeah,
because
yeah.
at least for the love of Christ, somebody said something unexpected.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You just go in so many of those design meetings, you're just like, "Oh my god, just more bullshit, more bullshit." Well, what if you snuck up on your wife and gave her a kiss? Oh, what if?
That's adorable.
And then your
Yeah.
brain doesn't do the.
What if that's our stealth kill tutorial?
Exactly. I feel like the context is the issue.
I know,
here. Yeah.
I know. It's just so hard for me to be like,
Oh yeah, no,
it's
you
not
can't-
hard for me. It's fucking bullshit, but I want to give people the benefit of the doubt.
Oh, I know. And it
you do.
plays out in a way that doesn't... when you actually
slit her
kiss her,
throat.
when you actually kiss her, it's actually a very cute cutscene.
Right.
You know,
I believe it.
He gives her flowers, and
I
they're
assume he
kind of,
doesn't actually murder her,
No, he doesn't. I mean, things don't go well for this woman,
but not because of
not
that.
because of him.
The kiss is not
Yeah.
ill portends.
The
for
kiss is not the kiss of death, you
Right.
know, literally or anything.
Only in a literary sense.
Yeah, in a literary sense, it was the moment. Yeah,
Yes, exactly. It's fun so far. You know, it was mostly Patricia playing it. You know, but I was
So
over
I've
the
heard
shoulder.
the cool
checking
thing about
it
this
out.
game is that enemies actually bear grievances against you based on like disfiguring wounds you've caused them, and like remember this and come back to give you shit about it later. Which
I was talking to
cracks me
Olly, and
up.
he said he stabbed the guy in the face enough times that he eventually only would talk to him with a bag over his head or something. And it was like, what is
this game? Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that
That's
stuff is
really
also
cool.
at the mic. It sounds like that stuff's also at the macro level, in that like whole factions of people, both good
Orcs
and
and-
bad,
yeah, yeah.
orcs. All the apparently the faction system is very, very, very.
Hopefully they can form new
advanced.
factions intelligently on the fly. So you have like the Bag Brigade. It's just like, oh, this is
Oh, you were
only
stabbed in
for
the face by
salty
this guy.
warriors
The
who
bag men.
have to wear bags because they have fucked up faces.
Did you encounter any of the sort of? I guess there's also a nemesis single like enemy guy in this game. I only hear little
I
like.
think the Nemesis thing is like,
Bits and pieces.
okay, we should just stop.
We
talking
just
about it
okay.
'cause
We're
we
done.
haven't played
We'll
it.
come
Yeah.
back. But no. So anyway, sorry. We interrupted you talking about your actual experience.
Oh, yeah, that's okay. I mean, honestly, it right now, all I have is sort of a jumble of what it shows you in the first 20 minutes of the game, which is the stealth stuff, the combat, which you know, Patricia was saying, it feels really good. It feels tight. You know, it's good.
Yeah.
You're doing a lot of rolling around. There's a lot of evading to the combat, which is, you know,
It's a game-ass game. It's just
a game-ass
interesting.
video game.
Yeah.
Exactly. And, you know, I'm not a huge Lord of the Rings fan either. I was really skeptical on this game until, you know, my colleagues played it and loved it. And, you know, I think we gave it like a 9.5, basically, like saying there's so many interesting mechanics in this game. Like, just give it a shot.
That's why I'm
kind of thing.
excited. It is so rare for me at this point to hear about a new big AAA game that's full of just like killing endless enemies and actually think, oh, that sounds interesting. Like that sounds actually interesting.
sure,
Like it has
yeah.
ideas in it. And the thing that I heard from a lot of people who had played it, you know, as the release was coming up, was that it actually tries to point a path forward for modern large scale action games that is not just a retread of the same
exact,
AAA action game formula that was established, you know, 15 years ago, essentially. Like
With Blood Rain. Yeah. But yeah, you know, I completely
which is cool.
agree.
I totally
Yeah.
admire that. That's great.
Well, it's not like. Did you see that like Storify that Nels put together from Dan Hines? who
Yeah, I
is a
did. Yeah. You
GameSpot
want to
guy?
just read that?
Yeah,
Go for it.
So
Please
the
do,
thing
yeah.
that seems interesting about this game is that there's enough systems where the bugs are interesting, which is what I actually liked about Skyrim, even though I didn't,
totally.
I didn't encounter
Yeah,
that many
that's-
bugs in that
yes.
game. Says, I
Cheese
forgot to
wheels.
tell you my story about Pug the Unclean, an orc captain.
Also, it's not clear to me that this is even a bug based on other things people have said. He interprets it as a bug.
Right.
I'm not sure.
Unclear.
Yeah,
Doesn't matter.
doesn't
This is a
matter.
quality game experience. This is an Idle Thumbs-esque
Yes.
This is game
Yes.
experience. This goes into the Hallowed Halls. When a captain kills you, a PSN friend can avenge your death by killing the same captain in their game. Pug the Unclean killed me. So my friend avenged me, and I got XP. Then I killed Pug the Unclean in my game by burning him in a pit of fire. However, an hour later, Pug the Unclean appeared again in the world and said, "You'll pay for burning my face." I think it was a bug. So I killed him again, this time with an arrow headshot. An hour later, he appeared again with one eye. "You'll pay for that arrow." I found him and this time decapitated him in an execution kill. An hour later, there he is again, but with a bag over his fucked up face. I'm continually fighting this one orc captain who, through some bug, is remembering every death, retaining every mortal wound. Fuck Sauron, we gotta deal with Pug the Unclean.
That's amazing.
So yeah, I'll play this game. Why not?
Yeah,
Of course
for
not.
sure.
Like,
Definitely.
sign me up.
Was that the
never-
bad guy that you were talking about?
I'm sure that
maybe?
after a certain point, they just wear a bag over their face.
Pug the Unclean.
Pug the Unclean.
Oh, there's a designer who just like threw those words into their random name generator and is so pleased with himself right now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'll never forgive you for burning my face.
I wouldn't.
No.
If somebody burns my
would.
face, it's going to be a
pretty
long road back to me going, I understand.
Yeah, forgiveness is it's an iffy at best.
It'll be a long
proposition.
road to redemption.
Yeah.
For that.
Oh, wow. We already took our break. Can't go out on that.
Sorry.
Yeah, I really don't play this. Apparently, this is not a thing we can actually talk about because nobody's played the game, but Justin says the new Holmes game is good.
Oh yeah, he said it's
he
like the best
loved it.
Sherlock Holmes game
Fuck
ever
yeah,
made.
loved
Which
it.
means I can finally talk about Sherlock Holmes Consulting Detective here on this fucking podcast
Yes.
after 2 months.
Do you want to talk about it now? Was that a Sagan or Sherlock
No
Holmes?
better time than the present, my
No
friend.
better time.
Oh my god.
You've been teasing this
I still
out. That
really
was on the
wanna play
list.
this.
That was on the list of that one episode that we had 30 things that we wanted to talk about.
So there's a new Sherlock Holmes game called Crime and Punishment that Justin at Polygon says is really good. And it looks great. It looks like it has a lot of sort of nouveau Holmes elements, like from the TV show, even though it's set in like the 19th century Holmes,
Sure.
where you can like zoom around somebody in Holmes mode and figure out all the little deets that you need to know to solve the case. But the thing that's cool about this board game I'm going to talk about is it's the opposite of that.
I want to point out a dumb facet of my brain, which was that you just said Holmes several times in a row, and the first time you said it, when you said like 1800s Holmes, I heard it as like residences of the 1800s.
Oh.
And then when you said zoom around a guy in Holmes mode, I was thinking a contraction of like homeboy or homie. And I was like, what is that supposed to mean? In the same sentence, you used
Sub-Holmes.
Holmes twice, and I interpreted it in two entirely different incorrect ways.
it's like a turn of the
20,
century.
20 seconds before that, I had said the word Sherlock Holmes, which is even more telling of your mental grasp
Acuity,
of the
yeah.
conversation.
Yeah.
So there's this board game called Sherlock Holmes Consulting Detective that I guess was a TurboGrafx game.
Wait, this was a video game?
Oh,
Yeah, it was a
excellent.
FMV TurboGrafx game as
name of
well
this
at one
again?
point. Sherlock Holmes Consulting Detective. But the thing that's cool is you get buy the game. Our friend Olly.
Oh,
got
that
it
reminds
for
me. Sorry.
Olly,
The game we talked about a moment ago is called Middle Earth Shadow of Mordor.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's correct.
Yeah, we didn't talk about
We
it.
have to remember to recap.
She said the name.
No,
I know.
no, at the end of the discussion. At the end
No,
of
it's
the
a good.
discussion.
It's a good.
Okay.
thing.
We're trying to get
Yeah.
ourselves in the habit of actually recapping the name of the game that we discussed, so people aren't like, "What is it? I forgot."
We're
And they
trying
have
to
to,
be a
like,
better
scroll back.
podcast.
Yeah.
Yes. So we're doing that by interrupting you right after you got
Yeah, I
halfway
know.
through the name of
I'm
this
sorry,
board
I'm the
game.
worst. Sherlock Holmes Consulting Detective, originally a TurboGrafx game?
I think it might have been a board game, then a TurboGrafx game, and now re-release of a board game. But correct me if I'm wrong.
I really
readers.
wanna play this.
I know you will. It's so fucking good, but it's probably not for everyone. But I think it is for you, Chris.
It was a Sega CD game, and it was on TurboGrafx-CD.
Told you.
Yep.
You did tell her.
Good.
So what do you do in the Sherlock Holmes game?
You get so when you buy it, you get the box. You open it up. There's just 10 stapled cases in there that are have like a 2-page sort of story that set up the case, and then a whole bunch of like choices behind them. There's a map of London, so you kind of know how far everything is around from each other. There's a phone book that has 5,000 names and addresses in it. Maybe 3,000. Couple. It's a lot. It's enough to go, oh, I couldn't just find the guy.
Right.
You know.
Good.
And there's newspapers for every day that a case takes place. Inside, and that's it. Okay, so we like
so
Olly
it's just
and
an
I,
actual you are Sherlock Holmes case simulator, basically.
exactly right. So Jake and Olly and I like peeled the first one off.
I didn't play.
No. Sorry, Adam and Olly and I like peeled the first one out of the box, and you sit around and tell the story, and then you go, okay, where do we do now? And you go to places and interview people and get information and try to solve the case, but it's completely
You do
only
that, like interviewing people. There's like
you don't really make choices. You just choose where to go and write down as many facts as you can. And the goal is to solve the case.
but the information about the locations are inside of this case book.
Yeah, but if I told you a big story right now about like a guy who like was a sardine magnate, that's not a story. I'm just thinking of it off the top of my head.
Yeah.
Who was murdered in like, you know, the alley
Right. So
behind
then
his
you're like,
office.
then you're like, do I
Oh,
go
the
to
canning facility or whatever.
You'd go like,
Oh,
okay, is
yeah.
there a canning facility? And like, you know, somebody gets the phone book and is like looking for the cannery and goes, okay, yeah, it's on this road. We can go there. And then meanwhile, somebody else is probably like going through the paper and being like, wait, what is the Canning magnate? What was his sister again who came and visited us? It's like Ellie Canning? Or whatever, you'd be like, she like won a like writing competition 2 days ago in North England. Like, and you're like, well, so like now you start getting all these like little pieces, tidbits, and the newspapers are like robust. It's like a news 4 pages of just news of the day, awesome. And there might be one sentence in there that, or like that, where it's like, oh wait, she was at a thing 2 days ago. Should we go to that place? So you sort of, when you get through a story awesome. And you look at some of the materials, you kind of have like 3 to 5 places you want to go. And so you need a notebook. You start writing this stuff down. You write down all the pertinent people, and you go, okay. The goal is, this is the thing that's kind of shitty about the game, but I love when it comes to like not making you feel like a badass. You are not Holmes. You are the consulting detectives. You are like basically like
that's what Sherlock Holmes apostrophe consulting.
Yeah, you are the like little Holmes urban achievers. Like, that's all I can describe it is. So you have Watson, kind of.
So but you're sub Watson still.
Watson like rounds up these scamps. Is the backstory of the game, right. And
that's also actually not entirely off base for Sherlock Holmes. Like, no, Sherlock Holmes as a character has just like
hangers on,
weird heels that he has to do his dirty work for him, like do weird little.
No, and it's
stuff.
based in like the Conan Doyle backstories of like him having these like ruffians out in London he could always get information from. So like the people in the room are basically those who've been gathered here to like just so happen to hear the story, and then Holmes has it. Holmes is like, all right, see ya, and leaves the room and like maybe goes to one of these places. And Holmes goes and solves the case on his own, as Holmes does. And your goal as the little scamps is to solve it in fewer moves than him.
Oh.
By going to fewer places. And you kind of like get free moves depending on certain choices you make. You don't know that until you score it at the end. So you write down everywhere you go, everybody you talk to. And then at any point, you can say, I think we got it. Like go get,
Round up Holmes.
Yeah, go get Holmes, go get the person who hired us, and we're going to do the parlor room scene. So the parlor room scene is its own thing at the back of the book where it just says, okay, begin. How did this happen? And then you go, well, and you tell the story. And it goes, but what happened when this happened? And you go, well, and then you like everybody sort of like,
or you go,
yeah, and the whole group is like in the room trying to like figure it out. And then at the end, it shows you all the answers and you score them and you score everywhere you've gone and you get basically like a letter grade rating about how you completed against the Holmes or if you beat Holmes, which we've never done. We got close. We got like a B, like an 85 once.
Oh, nice.
The thing that's great about it is that there's no mechanics. It's all just like narrative problem solving and deduction and choosing where to go and trying to be efficient but curious. It's this nice tension between like, oh, do we go see the guy? Is that even worth it? And you go on these. We went on a wild goose chase that was built there for us. We went and talked to like an ambassador who told us about like his friend who told us about this bar. And every time we'd go, we'd get a little deeper and a little deeper and a little deeper. And it felt like we were getting close to an answer for this case until Adam was like, none of this matters because why would you kill a guy for that? He said that. And we all like sat there and went, yeah, you would just steal the thing. You wouldn't have to kill the guy, would you? And we're like, oh God. Oh God. Oh, we had all this information and all these red lines. And it was like... It was like it was a Big Lebowski, she kidnapped herself moment. It's like, oh my God. And so the game is really great. And the thing that I love about it, and you and I were talking about it, is that we talk a lot about games that are all mechanic, no theme, or the theme's really light, and then the interplay of the mechanics tell a story about like world economy or like survival or whatever. And those games are great, and they don't feel the need to like shoehorn in a bunch of like handwritten narrative. What's great about this game is it just says, fuck mechanic, all theme, and the theme's really good and really, really thought out.
Except that your story still comes out of the actual decisions you're making,
right?
Not the pre-written story. Like, they give you premise, and they like, but part of your story is that you guys like realized halfway through this wild goose chase that you've got your heads up your asses.
Right.
And like, that is not prescribed.
And you can play as a group. You can play like competitively. Well, like I'm not going to go there, sort of thing.
Yeah.
But it's not fun to do that because we bought, a case of beer, and in between moves, we would take like 30 minutes, and Adam would be like, "Well, look, what if when Cannon came out of the back door, he saw this guy, but he didn't know who that guy was. So he turned to his left, which would explain why this happened, right? And you would do that if that guy was this guy who we talked to a minute ago. And like you let your friend just talk for 10 minutes and you're like, no, but here's the problem with that. You know? Like, and you do, like, we would take 20 or 30 minutes in between.
The actual parlor room.
Yeah, that sounds amazing.
We would take 20 or 30 minutes in between turns, and it's not boring.
Yeah.
If you care, you know, like,
it
was just like,
that's awesome. I really want to play this.
It's so fun. And it's like, all you need is the note. All you need is like one of the, like, you could, you know, throw the map, the phone book, and one of the case books in your backpack and go play it anywhere.
Yeah.
Like, you don't need like flat surface. You don't need.
You can go to a pub.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly right.
Actually, playing that in a pub would be really.
It'd be
ideal.
dangerous because, like, oh god, Olly and I. So one time, sorry, I'm done talking about this game after this. So when Olly's in town, we like to go out. It's just we'll go out drinking more than we should, and we came home fucking annihilated one night. And Olly like gives me this look, and he's like, he's like, do you want to catch a criminal? And I was like, the game's afoot. We go into like my living room, and we sit down, and we're just two drunks being like, what was that guy's name? Let's go to his house. And then like we go to his house, and she's like, he's dead. It's like, oh wait, no, he was not the guy. Like it's like it was the worst. We woke up the next day, and you don't want to like spoil this content because like once you get through all 10 cases, you're done with the game.
Yeah, right.
And we had to like it was nice because we couldn't remember anything. We had to replay it. But
that's how to play the game.
Playing in a bar is a little dangerous. Is all I'm trying to say.
I wonder if this. I mean, obviously these are always very hit and miss, but I wonder if the community for this game is strong enough for fans to create their own like cases.
That's kind of what I'm hoping, right?
Is that,
I think the game was limited run, which is shitty. It's one of those board games.
So they're probably not going to publish more content for it.
I think they just need to make more of them. First off, because the game has like a big following now.
Oh, really? Even though it's limited run?
Well, it was accidental limited run. The way a lot of Z-Man stuff is, with like underprint, and then there's just this like burning desire and $300 on eBay for a long time.
Right.
But I know the guys that Shut Up and Sit Down really liked it, and that created a nice little buzz around the game.
Yeah.
But it doesn't seem like I've played some of like the Mansions of Madness stuff or like the Fantasy Flight stuff where you can build an expansion for it with just like 20 cards and a premise and some other shit. Like expansions can be pretty like lightweight.
Sure.
These have to be so hard to write because each casebook has a couple pages of premise, but then like 25 pages of like
actual content.
Arabian Nights or 1001 Nights.
Arabian Nights.
Tales of the Arabian
Nights though is just like totally isolated, like little runs of events. They're not incredibly complex interwoven webs. I mean they're related sort of, but like you can experience them in any order and it makes no difference.
I would love to talk to, I think the guys who made it were French because I think it was translated.
The Holmes game?
Yeah. I would love to talk to a designer in this game about what it's like to try to write one of these things.
Yeah, I bet it's a fascinating process.
It's fucking hard. Yeah. But maybe they have a way of getting about it. They start with the original Holmes story and they can kind of like break it down from there. But it seems ripe for, like, I really hope there's more content for it. I'm only 2 stories in though, so like, I have three. I've done 3 of them. So like I slowing down because I want to play with you guys.
But you have a bunch more left. Yeah.
That's cool. Awesome.
I
That's
really
fucking cool.
want to try this.
Yeah. Amazing. But I think I can't remember. Olly bought it for me in the UK, but I think you can get it on Amazon.
Okay. You can get it on Amazon, but there's only a few, and they're like $100. I just looked.
Oh no! It's one of those.
It's because there's no new stock left. It's all.
We better order one before the people listening to this order those.
Oh my god! Yeah, it'll be gone. Yeah,
tonight.
For sure. Idle Thumbs reviews.
Sherlock Holmes.
You're thinking about it. You can use Idle Thumbs card.
That happened with us with Feinhandler years ago.
Oh, remember that?
I remember. Yeah, we talked about it, and then suddenly they all disappeared off Amazon.
Oh no!
Yeah.
I mean, now I think it's been reprinted since then.
Sure.
It's not a big deal, but
that's good. So that was Sherlock Holmes Consulting Detectives.
Nice.
We're so good at this podcasting thing.
So a thing I have to talk about, because I said I was going to talk about it last week, and then we just got swept up in talking about other things, so I didn't, is Desert Golfing.
Oh, yes.
Which is a mobile game. It's on iOS and Android. And
wait, are you serious?
What do you mean, am I serious?
You've talked about Desert Golfing at length on this podcast.
Yeah, I know. And then
okay. Sorry,
I
talked about it like 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Right.
And then last week I was like, I just deleted Desert Golfing. I'll tell you why later.
Oh, okay.
Because we're in the middle of something. And then I got all these tweets over the last week that were like, what the fuck? I'm on my fucking edge of my seat here. There's no like. I'm sorry.
Oh, I thought you were going to start from over what desert golfing was.
No.
Am I living in a twilight zone of desert golf?
We will always talk about desert golf.
That game where you could rewind time. So desert golfing.
That game where you can't rewind time.
Life.
No, desert golfing.
Like
That is true. It is a game where you absolutely cannot rewind time.
It's a perma-life game.
Yeah. So I had played. God. So after the time I talked about it before, the previous time I talked about desert golfing, which is this very simple 2D golf game with a golf swing mechanic, where you drag back and then release to set the power and angle of your swing. I played it to 1,000 holes twice, I think, is where I was at that point. And then I deleted the game. And at the time, I think I was somewhere in the like roughly top 10 world leaderboards of it. I think I was at maybe like 8 or 9. And Jonathan Blow was like one notch above me on the global leaderboard, which was a common, like he and I were commonly informed of this fact on Twitter because people would get to the 1,000th hole, see the leaderboard, and then see us there and then comment about
Tweet
it.
at you,
Yeah. And then, as just happens in any game with a leaderboard over time, you get pushed out if you don't keep improving. So, then I was down out of the top 10 for a while. And then I saw Mike Watson's tweet, which like end capped the episode 2 weeks ago, I think, of me seeing his thing and seeing this like purple fucking world. And he's like, anyway, I'm on hole like 2,168. The world is pink. I don't know what's happening. And I'm like, what the fuck? What is this game? Like I had played, like several hours of it. And he takes a screenshot of a thing that just looks like it's from Venus. And I'm like, what is this shit? So I re-downloaded it. I played it all the way through the 1,000 hole again, kept going. I got to like hole 3,500 or something, and it just keeps going.
Oh, God.
And at a certain point in the game, the background color, the whole color of the game, it's like a 3-color game, and the colors start very, very slowly cycling level by level, so gradually that you absolutely cannot perceive the difference from level to level. But I suddenly realized when I was at hole like 2,300 or something, I was playing in this like lilac world. And I'm like, holy shit, or green, it was green.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, holy shit, it's just been slowly changing this whole time and I didn't even notice. And then it goes into like blue and purple and red and then all the way back to the original color once you're in the like late 3000s somewhere. And it occurred to me that this game is a really fascinating example of a particular kind of bizarre artistic expression that is essentially only possible in a video game, which is to hide incredibly tiny, incredibly minor bits of intentionality to just bury them so deep that you could never possibly, like if you were trying to tell someone about this game, you would have to get so far in to get to that point, because you would never say to someone, oh, download this crazy game where like the colors change after you've been playing it for 6 hours and they change so slowly you can't even notice it, and I don't know why they change and I don't think it means anything, and eventually it goes back to the original. Like you couldn't, like that's not, because to get to that point you have to play 6 hours of a golf game that has nothing to do with that.
Yeah.
And like, 700 like
amazing
700 levels in, there's a cactus or what, and you're like, that's the sole prop that's been in this game.
There's that vase.
There's a little vase that you can knock with your golf ball and knock it a little tiny bit at a time, and you're like, do I do something with it? Do I put it in the hole? Like that time that I played through my endurance run, I just wasted like dozens of strokes slowly tapping this heavy vase to like roll across the level into a hole. And the game just keeps going. Like it doesn't like care that you did that. It pops out of the hole the same way the golf ball pops out of the hole so you can keep playing the game. Like nothing about the game changes. It just keeps operating. And I'm like, do I put it in another hole? Like if I do this enough, will the game care? Like, is this just the uncaring universe with like a Joker god? Like I don't like what am I doing?
My God.
Like for all I know, the designer of this game just put that there exactly so I would have that reaction. And maybe not though. Maybe it does something. I have no idea. There's a little tiny face in one of the hills, like, whoa. I don't know, 1,000 levels in. Like it's fascinating. The only other medium I can imagine doing something like this in is like a video installation in a museum where just some little thing changes on the screen after like 3 hours, except nobody would actually sit there for it. And if you do sit there for it, you know you're there to experience capital A art. You know what I mean? Where the artist is like making a statement of some kind. But this is not that. This is just a really stripped down, very clean game that just has incredibly covert, incredibly subtle, apparently meaningless touches in it. And it is just native to the video game form. I just cannot imagine another circumstance where this could be executed the same way with this kind of effect. You know, this kind of artistic choice could... And when I say artistic choice, I don't know if it even is that. It's a choice. Yeah. Like, I don't know what it's supposed to mean. It's probably supposed to mean it's probably supposed to just trigger me being crazy about it and trying to figure out what it means.
It makes you want to keep playing, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I mean, past a point, once you're like 3,500 holes in.
But who knows what's at the 5,000th hole, Chris?
I know. Well, I didn't get that far. I couldn't deal with it. So I deleted it. Then it started nagging at me more, and I'm like, you know what? I bet I could average under par 2 for the whole. So the game puts you on the leaderboard at hole 1,000, right? So like if you got a hole in one, every single, like theoretically the perfect score would be 1,000. I mean, no one has done that. Obviously, it would be incredibly impressive. It would be technically, well, I don't actually.
It might not be possible.
I don't think it would be possible because I think there are some levels where there actually would be possible. Most levels, it's possible technically. In any case, I'm like, I bet I could average under 2 per hole. So I recently went all the way through it again, and totally fucking did it, which put me back into the top 10. And I was and then after that, I had this like rash of downloading it and deleting it like 8 times in a row, being like, all right, I can improve on that. Like never spending more than 1 stroke unless it's absolutely necessary. And then I realized I was just actually going insane, and I deleted it, and I have not re-downloaded it since then. So
this game is a virus.
Yeah, this game is like a brain virus for people like me, I guess.
That's fascinating.
Have you guys seen the Shining documentary, like Room 37 or whatever it's called?
Bits.
Yeah. Because I want someone to just make that about this game.
Yeah.
That's not a bad idea.
Oh my God. Yeah. Just interview the top 15 people on the leaderboard, basically.
Yeah, exactly. What is the meaning of desert golfing? Because
some people are just like, it's a good golf game.
Right, exactly.
But then everyone else is just like, basically saying all the stuff you were just saying.
Yeah. Who made this game?
Justin someone, I think. I forget his name, but he's the guy who made EnviroBear 2000.
And he made Summer Sports Simulator or whatever that game is.
Oh,
my
did?
God.
I forgot about that.
Fucking Summer Sports
Is that what it was
Simulator.
called?
Yeah, I think it was called that.
It had more words in it than that name. But we played that during the Out of Thumb's Progress casts during the Kickstarter. We were obsessed with that game briefly.
Excellent.
Yeah, that game is awesome.
Yeah.
We've talked about it on the podcast.
Years ago, yes. Realistic Summer Sports Simulator, Justin Smith.
Yeah, we talked about it on like the second or third Progress cast, which are not available unless you back the Kickstarter.
I want to talk to him.
He goes by Captain Games, captain-games.com.
I really want to have a conversation with this person, and I want to know.
I don't think I've ever seen an interview with him. I'm sure there are some, but I kind of like his games being, especially Desert Golfing, just
being enigmatic,
feeling like they come from nowhere. Like he's on Twitter and I don't follow him because it's more interesting for me this way. You know what I mean?
The game goes even deeper.
Not
legend
because
alive.
I have anything against him or I think he's like, not because I don't think he'd be an interesting person to follow, but because it's Desert Golfing just as the like 2001 monolith in my life is just way more fascinating than if I just saw the guy who made it talking about his breakfast or whatever.
Yeah. Wow.
He probably doesn't talk about his breakfast. But if he did, what would it mean?
He does, but it's a different color every day. Like he eats like eggs.
He's been
one
taking
day,
photographs
cereal
of his
another-
breakfast every day for 4 years. And
he
3.5
just
years in, you
a
realized
little.
the pattern.
Yeah, just a little tiny bit.
But then he eventually just got back around to his first breakfast
Yeah.
and didn't say anything about it and just sort of kept living his life.
And when someone asked him, he said, "Oh, what? I just
I just
what
like
I
yeah,
ate."
it
Fruit Loops.
seems good. I don't know.
I think Fruit Loops are good.
I think the Fruit Loops have to be like thousands of
God, I
days
love
in.
Fruit Loops.
I haven't had Fruit Loops in decades.
Oh my god, they're so
Fruit Loops and Counter-Strike, Chris. I just got an amazing hole-in-one in desert golfing because I've been
Wait, you've been playing Desert Golf?
This whole time, yes.
Oh, it was
Getting a really satisfying hole-in-one in Desert Golfing is fantastic.
where the ball just leaps across your entire screen. And
Also,
goes,
I had one of those horrible moments today where games infected my life because I woke up this morning and I like took off my t-shirt to throw it in my like laundry.
did you
bin
get a
thing.
hole-in-one and get stoked?
I did, and I realized that as it like left my hand, I realized, oh my god, like I'm desert golfing, and I threw it to like specifically bank off the door to just like slow momentum and have it curve around and fall into the thing, which it did, which is exactly how you have to play desert golfing because
of the sand physics?
of the sand physics and because it's really easy to undershoot or overshoot because it's a golf game with a golf swing. So you start to get really good at being like, oh, I see a wall past the hole that I can bank it off of. And like most of my hole-in-ones are by sort of like mentally, you have a bit more leeway when you bank off of something than if you try to just get a smooth, direct swoosh,
Right.
arc
Nothing
in the
but
hole-in-one.
net,
Like that's
yeah.
really risky. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You want to get all those banks. And I realized this morning I had the moment that I've had with like GTA or Katamari in years past of just the very subtle infection of my mind where it just flows out of my body unintentionally. Yeah.
That's amazing.
I can't download this game.
I know.
Absolutely.
You have enough. You want to get
I
into
know.
Counter-Strike now.
Basically, you were just like a drug dealer, like just telling me all the fucking cool things about this thing.
Well, because it's such
You're like,
such an
what's
interesting overlap of
Awesome
things
about bath salts is
we sometimes
I'm like,
talk
oh,
about.
God.
Yeah. Because the game is purely mechanical, which is one thing we talk about on the show, right? Is like interesting situations that come out of just purely mechanical expression. But then also all of these clearly very deliberate creative choices he made
I know.
in just the
This
most
is really
subtle
killing me.
also,
possible
for
method.
what fucking
Yeah,
reason?
for what purpose? I don't know. The whole thing's fascinating. So I just wanted to make sure I got that whole monologue, that soliloquy on desert golfing in,
Man.
because it's fascinating. I don't know if I still have time to talk about Defense Grid 2. I guess I can maybe talk about that
Do we
next
have
week.
mail from you, the readers?
I'm sure we do. I'm certain we do.
I also played The Vanishing of Ethan Carter, but I can definitely hold that off
Oh yeah, we should talk about that
for
next
next week.
Yeah, we can do Vanishing of Ethan Carter and Mordor Town.
Oh yeah, they'll go beautifully. They'll complement one another. I feel like.
I do kind of want to hear a little bit about Defense Grid 2. I don't know if it's too much of a thing to bite off. We can do it next week.
Next week we have a trifecta of Defense Grid, Shadow of Mordor, and The Vanishing of Ethan Carter.
Yeah.
Plus, probably Counter-Strike.
Yes,
I'm
also
just-
Counter
Let's be
Strike.
honest here. Counter-Strike today.
All these games. All these games.
So Kai Wingfield writes,
Hi, Kai.
Hey Thumbs, I've recently been thinking about how much the language of film has become part of the way we talk and think about things. On the podcast, you'll sometimes preface something by saying cut to or camera pulls back to reveal to convey a certain specific meaning or connotation in the way a film might. In a recent episode, Jake even started speaking in slow motion and then said, the camera flies through the rifling of your eye to describe a feeling of sudden realization. I find this fascinating and hilarious. These images are evocative, and I think it's a testament to the maturity of film that tropes and cinematic technique can be referenced in a standalone way to communicate specific things in another context. I was wondering if you think there's a video game equivalent. Do you think there are any equivalent pieces of video game vernacular which you have used to similar effect reference to borrow their specific meaning in another medium? Do you have any game tropes internalized to the degree that they affect you, how you think about non-game things? Love the show, Kai.
Like
I'm gonna
sometimes you say,
really-
like, I feel like I'm having a double XP weekend.
I was just gonna say that. Fuck you! Oh my god, I
saw
hate
the-
you
I
so much. We're done being friends. I literally was like piecing it all together, and I was like, "Oh, this is what I'm going to say exactly." It's my last sentence.
I saw the glint and I was like, I hope this isn't also a double XP weekend glint and Sean's got another one.
Oh no.
But that's the thing, right? It's like you only make those. That's a fucking
We
shitty
generally
thing
do
about
that
games. Like,
to
reload,
be
man.
funny.
You
Yeah,
gotta-
It's only
exactly.
for
Fucking extra
bro
life.
things.
Comedic effect.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Although I will
game
say, though, that I do think this is less universal than he's suggesting, because I think you two, Jake and Sean, specifically talk this way more than most people I know because you had film educations, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
In
It's funny to
college.
me to like.
I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. I'm just saying,
Clock
like,
wipe too,
you two
smash
specifically do that a lot.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's necessarily
I also
like
it's why
a universal
my screenplays
trait.
are also like actually like disgusting in that sense. Like William Goldman does that, and I picked it up in college where he like transitions between every. Actually, Shane Black does it too. Now that I think about screenwriters, I think transitions between every scene with like a cut to, like whatever, wipe to, like then colon, and they're always like right aligned.
Mm-hmm.
It's a thing. Like most like Final Cut will just do it for you, but. So my brain always thinks about that as like selling the next moment, and it's very much like screenwriters of the '90s, like a Die Hard era on, like and then and so it's just it's a way to sell a moment as a joke. But
I think I only ever perceive things framed as some sort of construction or analogy that relates to another thing. Which is
that
unfortunate.
Is true. I mean,
that's
that
too
is
bad.
Jake's brain, yes.
Too bad.
Definitely.
I mean, I'm thinking...
I'm like that episode of Star Trek The Next Generation where they meet the aliens that can only speak in analogies.
Oh, yeah. What?
Darmok
oh my god.
What
does that mean?
Yeah, it's Darmok.
Oh, that was literal.
It's
they
the
actually
season 5 episode 1.
Yeah, he said he is analogous
it is
to
season
a show
5
about
episode 1.
analogies.
Oh my
It's
god.
called Darmok.
Yeah, and he was just lapping it up as he said that. And everybody just let it
Ian
slide.
Begos wrote a really good
Why is
article
this
about that
familiar
stuff.
to me? Oh, it's... Yes.
There
Okay.
you go.
I know
Why
that's
is
not
this
from
Star
the
Trek The Next
episode, but
Generation
because-
reference familiar to me? Oh, Ian Begos wrote about it in The Atlantic.
Yes, that is why I know
There
what
you
it is.
go.
Chris Ramo.
I haven't seen this episode. I did recently watch the
We jump into 90s tracks.
only episode I've seen of Deep Space Nine now as of last week, which is
said
the
the
one with
sequel
The
to the
Tribbles
Tribbles.
episode.
Tribbles in it. Yeah, that was cool. I like it.
I believe it's Trials and Tribulations.
It is that.
Yes.
Yes.
There we go.
What season? You
5?
Probably.
5, I think.
You just landed that Marklar episode, whatever it is.
Darmok.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I'm a dork. It's good.
Speaking,
I was going to
speaking
say.
of which, go ahead.
Oh, no, you were going to say
this is
something
because this is
probably
the
more
next
on
email.
topic.
So,
oh,
so
okay,
go ahead.
okay. Oh, I was just going
Speaking
to
of
say.
you being a dork.
Speaking of being a
speaking of
dork, if I've been video editing for like more than 10 hours, I definitely think of things in terms of scrubbing, like reality, in terms of like scrubbing through the
Right,
timeline,
right,
and
yeah,
like
yeah.
I really would like to reverse that, and like it's weird.
Ripple edit that.
I've been driving before and actually like really wanted to go in reverse and like
Oh,
actually like
dangerous.
That's
physically
bad,
scrub
yeah.
the timeline basically. It's a little-
as I was plowing
It's a
into the
little
car in front
weird.
of me, I thought, I really wish I could scrub this back.
It's like yeah, it
Wish
would
you
be
could
nice to
rewind
just-
time.
And what if I could get that hit right on the music cue right there? Like, oh, come on, we can do this crash again. Yeah, it's good.
So speaking of you being a dork,
Yeah.
our friend David Huang writes,
really
Hey
excited
Thumbs, quick
David.
question for Danielle. On the cast with Anita, they both mentioned they're big fans of Farscape. Danielle told Anita she'd give her a skip list, which she then posted on Twitter and the Idle forums. I noticed Danielle didn't mention the Peacekeeper Wars miniseries that concluded the story after the show went off the air. I don't know if that omission means she doesn't recommend watching it or that she simply forgot. As a Farscape fan myself, I was wondering what your thoughts on it were. As always, keep up the great work. David, a.k.a. Secret Asian Man. P.S. Tell Danielle I have not forgotten that she hasn't received a box of candy from yours truly yet. I'm a little short on funds at the moment, but I swear a big box of Junior Mints will arrive eventually.
Oh, that's really delightful.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
eat them all.
We've received
No.
plenty of candy from David before.
You can eat some of them. Just freeze the rest for me.
We'll freeze all of them. There's so much better in the
So
freezer.
good frozen. So Peacekeeper Wars. This is a thing. I'm gonna admit it right now, right here and right now.
You haven't seen it.
I haven't seen it because I was actually so Farscape is my favorite piece of entertainment ever in the universe. And I didn't watch it.
Did you want to stay pure on this?
No. Not that I want to stay pure. It was because it came out about a year and a half after the show ended. And I was sort of like in the middle of college and didn't have the time to really go through the entire series and watch it again. Which I'm saying this now, obviously I have a 20th of the time that I had in college. But at the time I perceived having less time. Long story short, I was going to watch it again because Anita and I had been watching through the series again. And so I was going to watch it for the first time on this watching of the series. And I've watched through Farscape like 8 or 9 times. So this is not,
Sure.
I know it, not entirely by heart, but I know most episodes where they fall. I know all the arcs. I know most of the lines of most of the episodes.
Mm-hmm.
things like that.
So
So
slowly this blended. I know a lot of the thematic arcs with I know most of the lines.
I know, I do.
As if that's the same thing.
it's actually, yeah.
Somebody who can tell you the arcs of A Tale of Two Cities versus someone who can recite for you Tale of Two Cities are two different brains.
Different people. That's true.
One
you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just try to make myself sound slightly less insane, but there's no point, so it's fine. So yeah, I don't have thoughts on it yet. I think a person watching it the first time should probably give it a shot. I've heard nothing but good things, and I know what happens in it. I've been spoiled on it. I just haven't actually sat down and watched it because it was so heartbreaking to me that the series ended.
Here's another question for you.
Yeah.
Matthew Gemmel writes, exactly. Hey Thumbs, Danielle, could you say exactly both with and without the Rhode Island accent? I notice you put a stress on the T, and I can't figure out if that's overcompensation from a New England accent involving dropping T's, or if it's part of the Rhode Island that's carrying through. I'm Canadian, Winnipeg specifically, and we mostly say it exactly or exactly with little or no presence of the T sound. Accents are fascinating, don't you think?
He's completely right. I do that on purpose. When I'm trying to speak the way I speak now, I try to over-enunciate things like T's and G's at the end of like inning or outing or whatever, like ing sounds. You know, I try to over-enunciate because otherwise it's up. You went out for your inning, you went out for your outing. That's exactly right.
You're not running.
It's exactly right.
Yeah.
That's
Wow.
how it sounds.
You said exactly in there, and then I didn't hear it till afterwards. When I had to
it's
go
exactly
hunting.
right.
I had to go hunting for it.
Yeah, exactly. So when I speak, when I'm doing this, when I sort of
When you're
am faking
enunciating,
my over enunciation, I try to say exactly.
You know what the word you say
interesting
that I
instead
find
of
most
interesting.
fascinating is you say human being, which is how Terry Gross and Carl Sagan say it.
Oh, really?
Yes.
You mean?
Two of my favorite speaking voices in the world, Carl Sagan and Terry Gross. So-
I'm in esteemed company here.
Yeah.
That's really exciting.
The three of you on an island would be so delightful.
Terry Gross, Carl Sagan, and Danielle.
And
Just
me.
talking. And
I would be
polite
happy
all the
about it.
time. You
Yeah.
know,
Just
like
being nice to each
sharing
other.
a coconut or whatever, just surviving together.
We'll have equal portions of our coconut.
Yeah.
Really
Just
nice.
being incredibly well read.
Yeah.
Oh, I would do it. That sounds nice. You know,
Carl Sagan would probably totally bro
Sagan's-
down about
yeah.
Farscape with you.
he totally would.
Probably would.
God,
He would
totally
actually probably
would.
be like, I have nothing to do.
You know who'd be
Please
really
tell me
into-
every line of
You don't
dialogue
think
from
Terry
Farscape.
Gross is super into Farscape? Totally is.
don't
I
think
could
so.
act out the
doubt it.
entirety
He
of
has one of those
Farscape.
weird things. I bet it.
Maybe, probably not that. I'm just guessing.
When you're
based
stuck on an island
years of
with
listening to
Danielle,
Terry
though, you
Gross.
bet you're going to just hear the entire
I'm going to do
story
a
of
one-woman
Farscape.
show.
A one-woman show.
I play every character with every accent. It's very special. By the way, I streamed The Vanishing of Ethan Carter the other day entirely in my New England accent for 2 hours.
My God, I hope that was premium content.
Oh,
I
it
hope
was
you were
I hope
charging
there was a
admission.
fucking paywall.
It just delights me how much people are delighted by it. That's how I talked my whole life. So
I love it.
It's weird to people to like it, you know.
Matt wants to also just pay you a compliment. He says, excellent work as always. Danielle's a fantastic addition. She was always an awesome guest, and being permanent really adds to every episode. And having Anita join in 176 was a real treat.
A wheel tweet.
It's because he then says, I've only seen her Twitter. And in her videos, while they showcase her intelligence, hearing her on the show showed she's also really funny. It was awesome seeing and hearing that side of her. Thanks, Matt from Winnipeg. P.S. Don't play a drinking game where you drink every time Chris gets sidetracked on his way to the end of a thought. I was just doing a quick count during one segment last week, and I think I would have had to drink 10 or more shots in as many minutes when you were talking about Doom-style games. I'm sorry.
Accurate.
Thank you for the compliment. And Anita is a
Sorry about
amazing
the
person.
alcohol poisoning.
Sorry for your death.
That was a definite sorry, not sorry. I'm sorry if you have to drink so much when I speak.
That's the most passive aggressive, like, mom thing.
Yeah.
I'm just
Yeah.
sorry that you have to drink so much because I speak.
Thanksgiving.
Oh, no.
It totally is.
Coming up.
Okay. Jesus. Your sister just looks at you.
Yep.
Gives you the reproving
knowing
look.
look.
Yeah. So good. Wow, these are
Are
really
we
good
done?
reader emails. I just have to
Are we
say.
out?
I'm going to close this on a dream. Fuck it.
Yeah.
I'm drunk from playing my own drinking game.
Yes.
Nate, I thought his name was Nate Alien. It's Nate Allen. Nate Allen writes,
Bummer.
Next email.
I haven't read this, so it might be bad. Nate from Kansas City here wanted to share with you
are we looking at here?
a dream I had. Chris, Jake, and Sean were invited as special guests to a public Taco Bell tasting.
Perfect.
They were put up on an outdoor stage at some kind of festival.
Perfect.
Taco Bell representatives were bringing them various dishes to try.
Okay.
Nobody looked like
Dishes.
dishes to try.
Very charitable.
Ditches.
Nobody looked like they do in real life. Sean looked like a bearded Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Accurate.
Jake had long blonde hair.
Okay,
And
this is a dream.
for that reason, Chris and the Taco Bell reps thought he would like the bean burrito.
We love it, yeah.
When the tasting event concluded, we all went to Olly's house for the after party.
Naturally.
At this point, I lost them. The next morning, I discovered a movie poster for the Idle Thumbs remake of Eddie Murphy's Golden Child at the bus stop.
One of my favorite fucking movies of all time.
Wow.
Whoa.
Yeah, sorry. Wow. Really
good.
weird. I love that movie. Sorry.
I can only assume the Thumbs crew snuck off in the night before to film it. Keep casting great pods, and I wait the release of Idle Thumbs' Golden Child.
Oh my god.
I've never even seen that
Danielle
movie.
did not
it's
feature in
fucking
this
good.
dream,
I mean, it's not
fortunately.
one of the
I know,
great, it's not
what?
a good Eddie Murphy movie, but it's just I watched it. It was one of those movies. It was like on HBO. My parents had HBO in the early 90s.
It has been so long since I had a grilled stuffed burrito.
You know when it was? Sorry, I don't know what
was.
Well,
We don't know
so
what any-
when Jake and I were working at Telltale and we're roommates and we're going to lunch together every single day and we're basically married, like we would go to Taco Bell
Because it was
like
easy.
twice a week or for dinner, and we would just like
So you think this
just
guy
do the
fucking like...
slog of game development.
No, you're talking about his last time I had
recepted
it.
into
He's just
your
talking about when I had a
brain?
grilled stuffed burrito.
Oh.
yeah.
I don't think I had one at that time though. I was really
Absolutely,
into
they
them.
did.
I
Absolutely
don't
they
think I ate a lot of them then though. I was really into them in college because they were new.
Oh.
did. Right.
There's a big sign outside the
I
Taco
saw-
Bell on my street.
I saw a PT Cruiser yesterday. I
Weird.
swear to God, a powder blue PT Cruiser with the customized license plate Chalupa.
Oh my
I
god.
swear to God. In the inner Richmond in San
I hope
Francisco.
you checked the year just reflexively.
What's funny is I wanted to take a photograph of it.
He looked for a newspaper. I was like,
And
oh,
then
it's
Oh,
you looked
2014.
around
There
and it
isn't
wasn't
one.
there.
I wanted to take a photograph of it, and I just went, no.
Wow.
This is just going to come with me.
Yeah.
This is just going to come right with me. Oh.
To this
wasn't real.
podcast.
Throughout life. It was a dream.
Well, the thing is like, you know, like, Chalupa.
The Inner Richmond has the best weird cars
Yes.
because they have like
people
three.
have cars there. That's why.
But
yeah.
it's
Yeah,
like
'cause there's
that's
lots
where
of
you
parking.
find like they've got like the triple length.
Well, it's not just Mercedes and
white
BMWs.
Right.
white 80s limousines.
Real people live there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, there's the big
They've
limousines.
got
that
those
park on
huge
Fulton.
like the boomerang.
There's that one
back.
that had that giant parking spot underneath that.
Yeah,
that,
the one that has a hot tub in the back. Probably like it's got that raised, squared off back.
Yeah.
It's got.
There's a 1980s or 70s hot tub limousine that fits literally in a perfect, like, made for it parking
It's
spot.
like an 8-car tandem parking
Oh
spot.
my
in an
God.
old, in a really old, underneath an old shitty 60s.
Yeah,
apartment
that car's
building
just
up
there
near
all the
Clement.
time. But then I saw
And
another.
it fits like a glove. but they built the apartment around it.
Yeah, it does
They
look like
probably
that.
did.
The other day I saw 3 1960s DeSotos. Like I just saw 3 Sam and Max
Oh my
cars all
God.
just parked in various states of disrepair in this guy's like drive. I was like, what? Why are these here? And that Chalupa car.
And that
Oh my
Chalupa
So that's
car.
got all of them.
Oh, car sightseeing.
The last great neighborhood in San Francisco.
Yep.
Don't move there. It sucks. It's foggy and shitty.
It's just full of hot tub limos and chalupas.
There's a Taco Bell out there.
There is.
There's only
There
2
is. There's
Taco
one
Bells
with,
in the
like, 2
city.
Taco
There's the one in
Bells,
the Inner
yeah.
Richmond. There's the one at old KFC Heights over there.
Yep. They are both KFC Taco Bell hybrids, though, which is the inferior Taco Bell because it has a KFC.
You ever go to
in
that
it.
fancy Taco Bell on PCH?
There's a fancy Taco Bell.
There's a PCH Taco Bell that's built to look nice against the ocean down like on your way to
Oh yeah,
yeah.
That was actually, I think, the first place that my parents ever actually allowed me to go to a Taco Bell and eat food.
Because it was nice.
No, because we were just like on some
was an ocean
multi-family
view.
trip to that beach, and
Yeah.
like, oh,
I go there on my motorcycle.
If my son's going to a Taco Bell, he's going to the best.
it's gonna be that nice big wood one out by the beach.
So I
your
go-
family
so-
wanted the best for you.
I have this theory
Only the best Taco Bell.
that I go to Taco Bell's and I go on motorcycle trips oftentimes because I have this
Jake
theory.
is still playing desert golfing, by the
Of course,
way.
Yeah.
it's fine. He's present mentally.
Oh, it's fine.
I have this
Continue.
theory that Taco Bell bean burritos like will not like go bad. Like it's actually like
That
impossible.
is not true at
They're
all.
not real food.
I said it was a theory.
No, but it does seem like they just dry out and don't mold.
Yeah, like you,
Oh.
it's not. You're not going to get sick.
That
it might not.
happens to
It might. I
McDonald's,
mean, it might
too,
not
yeah.
taste. You know what I mean? I just actually believe
I thought you
that.
just said if I got tased.
So what I do is like if I'll go there and when I'm on a motorcycle trip and I'll eat at Taco Bell because
It's
Fuck
there.
it.
Because why would you not?
And
Yeah.
but I get like 3 of those bean burritos, and then I just put them either like in pockets or whatever space I have on my bike. So I don't
Yeah,
really
in your
have any
armpits,
space.
down
Whatever,
Keep
in my
them warm.
helmet, just like and
Little bean gets
and I'll
in
just
your
eat
hair.
them throughout the day.
Yeah.
Like I'll eat it while it's in 7 hours in my pocket, and I'm
Sure.
like, whatever.
It's probably fine.
It's marginally different. Like it's.
I think
fine.
we've I think
and
we've
I know I
talked
won't
about
get
this
sick.
though. Like Taco Bell for 7 hours, that passes the sleepover rule. Like sleepover pizza rule.
Yeah, no, I don't think we've talked about this, but yeah,
Okay, sleepover pizza rule.
Yeah, that's a thing.
Yeah,
Was
you just don't have to put it in the fridge. You can just be there.
right. But
yeah.
it's if you fall asleep and take your eyes off it while you sleep and wake up, it looks gross and you throw it away. If you're up all night, you eat the pizza in the
just
morning
keep eating
for
it.
sure. Just keep eating.
Oh,
it.
I see what you're
Kind
saying.
of true.
Yeah, but like if that Taco Bell burrito is just in your pocket that whole time, it's fine. But if you put that coat like on a coat rack for an hour, then put it back on, you'd be like, oh, gross.
I don't know if I found that. It's sort of, and I'm hungry.
That's what you're like, oh, free
Fucking-
taco.
yeah.
free burrito.
Look, it's a burrito.
It's like finding a 20 in my pocket, except it's like finding 79 cents in my pocket.
yeah, exactly.
except it's actually worthless.
It's worth like 79 cents. It's probably
is
worth like
not.
$1.20 now.
They're
Those
$1.19 now. I
Those
think.
depreciate very.
Fucking curve. The resale value on that bean
Marketplace
burrito.
value on that bean
Yeah.
burrito.
Quite
yeah.
low.
I've recently been just selling every single Steam card that pops up in my
For a penny
Steam
or whatever?
account. Yeah, and I have like 87 cents now. It took me like
You're getting close to a
The amount-
burrito.
I was gonna say the same thing.
to a what?
A burrito.
You can buy
Can I
one.
cash this out? Alternatively, can you mail me a Taco Bell gift card for this
Alternatively,
value?
you just mail me a burrito. It will
It'll
be
still
fine.
be good,
We've
yeah.
confirmed that it will be fine.
You may withdraw my Steam credits.
Well, you can get 2.
Like the airline
you know.
frequent flyer thing where you can order like Good Housekeeping magazine with your
Right.
leftover frequent flyer points.
Just send me fucking burritos
Yep.
only.
Subscription to Taco Bell burritos.
Where's that? Taco
Where's
Bell.
that sponsorship?
Yeah.
Could do that.
Talk about call us.
There's totally a
Yum
Taco Bell.
brands. Come on.
Come on.
Are they Yum brands?
It's Yum brands,
Yum.
yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah. All right,
Yum.
this podcast is over, right?
This is way over. yeah.
Yummo.
Well, I mean, it is now.
We have on our store. One thing we should point out. We recently, I think today or yesterday, sold our very last men's size of the Idle Vice T-shirt design, the pink and blue and white awesome Idle Thumbs.
You guys
shirt.
really liked that shirt.
Yeah, we still have a few women's sizes left.
We have all women's sizes left.
not many of them though.
No,
They're
not
almost-
many.
they're
So
almost
but we do have
gone,
like
but-
I think we have small
We have a
to
couple-
2XL left, and
yeah.
they're in a women's cut, and they're really nice. We're really proud of the shirt. Like
So
it's
I'm
not
just
like a
bringing it up to
unisex
say that
situation.
we're down to our last couple per size. So if you are a lady who would like that shirt, get on that fast. And we still have some of those records left. The Music of Thumbs from
Very
Overstock.
Also,
Yeah,
while you're there, we only talked about this once, but we did a second shirt poll, and the Wizard shirt won easily, and that shirt is in the store and has been there for a little bit. So,
Oh, yeah.
if you want
Nice.
a sort of really dark purple to navy shirt
It's
with
midnight navy is
with
the
like-
actual
with
color.
like-
yeah, neon green.
a neon green logo that says Idle Thumbs and kind of looks like the logo to that movie.
Those we have men and women left.
yeah, we
Yeah.
have all sizes in those, and they're printed on alternative apparel, and they're real. It's probably like comfort wise my favorite shirt we have. I wear it a lot. It's really, really, really nice. We're really happy with the way they turned out.
Anyway, that's store.idlethumbs.net.
Yep.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Oh, but really, before we go, I would like to thank Hover for sponsoring this episode of Idle Thumbs.
Yeah, me too.
You can go to hover.com and use the promo code Chris for 10% off domain name registrations. And right now, they have slashed prices on all domains.
It's big price reductions across almost all of their top level domains. The new weird ones like .guru and .christmas, and your old favorites like .com.
Excellent.
Classic TLD.
Classic.com.
Yeah.
Classic.com. Register. You can't register that.
It's probably
you could.
something
You
else.
totally could. If it was up, it'd be expensive. But you could try to get it.
Classic.com.
Hover.
I think
Classic.
classic.com.
Com.classic, more likely to be
Yeah,
available.
there you go. That's probably around.
lobby for the .classic TLD.
Yeah.
Classic.